What's up, Kitty Loveization here, sorry. So today is kind of a special day for me. 6 years ago today, I had major back surgery. And I, it's really special for me that it was 6 years ago now that it happened and my life changed. I had the surgery and I'm feeling better than what I did. I'm doing what I really like to do. I have a bruise on my arm, don't I? Oh, no, I don't. I don't know where it is. And so I know I was going to do it in front of the window, but I kind of want to do it here because I want to get it done. Because I like this video, and this video is very special, but to continue on with my story. About 7 years ago, I got diagnosed with scoliosis. Now, for those that don't know what it is, my back will... Normally your back's supposed to have a slight curve, kind of like that. Mine was like that. Hold on. Okay, so this was my back. You can't really see it very well. Crack attacks. But basically there is a very big curve. That wasn't like made by myself. It was, I could not help it. You can see here, that's my collarbone right here, and my back goes here and down. So this shoulder is higher and my shoulder blades are like right there. And on this day 6 years ago, I had surgery that transformed my back into that. Whoa, you can't really see it. Oh, I'm getting somewhere. There, you can kind of see it. But it'll be on my Facebook page if you guys really want to see it. But my back now goes down, and straight up and down, with titanium rods and 18 to 20 screws going across my back. And dang it, I don't have a good picture of my scars. And sorry, so anyway, me, my mom, and my dad, my whole family traveled to Minneapolis, Minnesota to the Shriners Hospital for Kids, Twin Cities. And we had got there, and I had been a patient there for about a year, a full year. Or no, I hadn't even been a year. No, yes, I have. I was. And we went and we talked to the doctor. Well, we got there a day before me, my mom, and my dad. And we is there any better pictures? Sorry. We went through all of it, and everything happened. And we got there on the 5th. So the 5th was a Saturday of that year. So from the 5th, the 5th through about the 9th. Or no. So I was in for a week. 5th through the 12th-ish. I had stayed in the hospital, and I had my surgery on the 6th. It was 9 hours total that my family had to wait. Now, normally the surgery is about around 7 hours. Mine took 2 more hours longer because of how severe my curve was. Oh, anyway, and so now I'm here to tell the tale of, if I didn't have the surgery, I would be in worse shape. My curve would have still gotten worse, and I probably could have died. But I didn't. We found the awesomeness that is Shriners Hospital for Kids. And even though I've grown out, I will always be a Shriners kid at heart. And we have another Shriners kid in my family now, Owen. He went to the Shriners to get his cleft palate or cleft lip fixed. And, the one thing I could think about for this video is kind of a thank you. Thank you to the doctors and the nurses at the Shriners hospitals everywhere, not just in Minnesota, but every Shriners hospital for what you do for all these kids. You change lives every day. Thank you to my family for being such a big support system and letting me know that I can do it and I'm strong enough to do it. Even though I cried before I went to surgery because I was scared of the outcome. Thank you to my sister and my brother for, bringing me down, but at the same time bringing me back up when I needed it. Thank you to the friends I had then, who aren't my friends now, because without you guys I wouldn't have a voice. And to my friends now that I didn't have back then, thank you for being there for me now. Because life can get tough, and after surgery it gets worse because you feel like you're a freak sometimes. Even if your scar isn't showing, you feel like people can tell. Whereas with me, you can sort of tell with my shoulders. I think it's this shoulder's higher than the other, and that can never be fixed. But there's one thing I've learned, and this is those who have actually experienced a surgery, or even a surgery like mine. Embrace the scar. It's cool. It shows how strong you are, that you have overcome something so big that you can live to tell the tale and you have a cool little thing to show. I love my scar. My scar is my favorite thing about me. I show it off as much as I possibly can. My very first prom dress I had after my surgery, which was 2 years after, I had it so the back was kind of crisscrossed, like it wasn't lace, it was like a string, kind of. It looked beautiful, and my scar was showing. I love my scar. I wear swimsuits that, they cover my stomach, but my back is still free so you can see my scar, or at least part of it. I love my scar. This is something, the doctors told me as soon as I got done, and, when I remember talking to them, they're like, a lot of girls like to put makeup over their scars. And I'm like, that just seems unnatural. There's a reason you got put in that area. Because, they knew the reason you were put there was because you were strong enough and to show how strong you are. I feel empowered by my scar rather than brought back. Yes, there are some days where I'm like, people are staring at my scar. Even if I'm wearing a shirt like this, they're staring at my scar. They're not. They're seeing this happy girl who's walking with a giant smile on her face because she can live to say that I could have died, but I didn't. Because there's some power there that wanted me to stay around. After surgery, when I stayed the week in the hospital, I don't remember a lot. I remember, one night, I had a hard time sleeping because I couldn't turn on my own. I needed to constantly call nurse or have my mom to help me turn so I didn't, open my scar back up or open the wound back up or anything like that. And I remember one night I got up to go to the bathroom because I couldn't do that by myself either. And after I did it, I told the nurse, I'm kind of hungry. Like, well, food services are down, but we do have some Jell-O out at the nurse's station. So I was sitting in the wheelchair, talking with all the nurses at the nurse's station, eating Jell-O. My mom stayed asleep and didn't know what happened, but that's one of my kind of greatest memories from it. And then coming home, they didn't put any bandages on my back, but we went and stopped and saw my grandma, who lives in Worthington, Minnesota. So when we stopped, my mom helped me get up and move around and get in there, and we talked, and we showed her my back, and she's like, they didn't put a pack on it, and we're like, mm-mm. So luckily she had stuff, and the put it on my back, and we came home, and my brother and a lot of his friends were home, and I walked in, they gave me walker because they kind of had to help me, it kind of helped me catch my balance because I was still really groggy. And I got to the stairs, the 3 stairs on my porch, and I put the walker to the side, gave it to my mom, walked up the stairs, walked in the house, sat down and said, no, I'm not using that walker. I don't need it. You know, they don't know, it won't hurt me. I didn't use my walker at that point after, because I didn't need it. I really didn't. And my mom and dad would take alternative days off to stay home with me for a couple of weeks after my surgery until I could get up and, go places. And I think actually my mom had it off the whole time. And I remember, when I had to go to the bathroom, I'd have to tell them, and they'd help me up, and they'd help me walk or watch me walk. I fell once. I stood up, and my foot was caught around a charger cord for a computer, and I fell and landed on my knees. My dad was home at that time, and he got scared because he was sitting on the couch. I slept in the chair, so that way it made it easier for me to get up and down from the chair. And he came, and he's like, you okay? I'm like, I'm fine, I can't get up. Can you help me? So he comes over and helps me up, and he's like, where are you trying to go? I'm like, I'm going to the bathroom. And I went to the bathroom. And I didn't fall after that point. I made sure I watched my feet. And when it was easier for me to get up and down and walk, my dad worked at another hotel. And he always had a room kind of that he set aside so I could sit in there. He would get up at like 6:30 and go 7 to 3. My mom would work about 8:30 to 7 at night. So she'd wake up and bring me into town, bring me to the hotel, and we'd go up to the room, and I'd have computer, TV, and I'd go get breakfast from the continental breakfast. So I'd always get like toast, fruit, muffins, whatever's on there, and I'd get it and eat it and go bring it back to my room and eat it. And I'd sit there and I'd play on the computer and watch TV. I loved it because it was kind of like I was starting to feel more helpful or not helpless in that situation, because I felt with my parents constantly having to watch me, I felt helpless, and I hated that feeling. And every day for lunch, my dad would order me lunch, and then I'd walk down to the other building across the street, because there were 2 different buildings, but it was the same hotel. And I'd walk across, and I'd go and eat lunch with them, and as soon as I was done, I'd go back up to the room. And the room I was at was on the 2nd floor, so I could either walk upstairs or I could take the elevator. I would alternate off and on because I knew I needed to get the walking in to help me, and then when I was getting really tired, I would use the elevator. And the feeling of being helpless that whole time was hard on me because I felt like I was being bothersome to my parents because they had to do work and they had to get the money and keep the house going. But after my surgery, they couldn't do that for a few weeks. And then my dad had to constantly call me and tell me to take my medications I needed to take. And I felt like it was kind of bothering him during his job. And then kind of started becoming, I could stay home by myself. And when I started it, it was more of my brother and sister were home, but they'd go somewhere and come back. And then July, the last few weeks in July came around, and I was there for like a good portion of June and July. And, I started, after my first pre-op appointment, or post-op appointment, sorry, I handed them the bottle that held my Oxycontin. And for those of you that don't know what Oxycontin is, it's a very powerful pain medication. It was very powerful. But I didn't feel like I needed it after I took all of them. I didn't feel any pain, so I didn't need it. And I gave it back to them after my first post-op. And they're like, "Are you sure you don't need a refill?" And I'm like, "I don't need a refill at all." He's like, "Well, we'll write you one, but if you don't need it, don't worry about it." And they said, "You're the first kid that came back with an empty bottle and said I don't need another one after this long." Because normally they would get like 2 or 3 more bottles of it, because the pain would be very excruciating, and I was fine with it. I have a high pain tolerance, and it's not the worst pain I was in it either, so I could tolerate it, and I continued to take the other medications that they told me that I needed to take, so I did. And just kind of looking back at the events that took place, how I got to the Shriners, and how all this happened, it kind of makes me think, what would have happened if I didn't do it? Because how it started, I was jumping on my neighbor's trampoline with them, and I did a flip, and I landed on the lower part of my neck, and then it kind of brought my neck in and crushed my windpipe a little, but not too bad to the point where I couldn't breathe. It was knocked the wind out of me for a little bit, and then instant pain came over me on my back, and I told them, like, I can't be here anymore, I'm in pain, I'm gonna go home. And they're like, "Okay, we'll hope you feel better." So luckily they weren't too far, so I walked home and I laid down on the couch. My mom comes to get me, and she's like, "Katie, it's time to take a shower." I'm like, "I can't get up off this couch. I'm in too much pain, it hurts." And she's like, so she comes over and she helps me into the bathroom, and I take a shower, and we come into the room, and she's kind of helping me along because it kind of hurt to move my arms and stuff because I was really sore. And I kind of did this whole thing, and she saw the curve. Because normally if you do this, you can see where your spine is at, where with me, it was a curve. And she's like, that does not look right at all. So she called the chiropractor, and the next day I went in for a adjustment. And kind of to look for the signs. Sorry, I'm moving so much. So, and to look for, what could be the possible problem with my back. And he said that the year and a half before my last, appointment, he looked for signs and only noted that my one leg was longer than the other, but nothing else. And in that year and a half time span, I got a moderate to severe case of scoliosis in my back. And he said, "I don't understand how it happened, but it happened, and, we got all that done, and got to the Shriners." And I guess the one thing I gotta say about my whole experience with my back surgery is stay positive through all the bad times, because if you don't know what's gonna happen. You always want to say, "When I make it through, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be proud of who I am, no matter what anyone says." That's why I love my scar. I love telling the story. I love, the fact that I can be unique and be, so loving of my body and what it holds. Because not just my back, I sometimes will feel self-conscious, but then think, why should I when I'm perfect the way I am made, and it doesn't matter. I always call myself a cute potato because I am a cute potato. Everyone's a cute potato. Even if they wear makeup or not, everyone's a cute potato. And it's always good to keep a smile on your face, even if the times are tough. Keep on smiling on. Everyone has their bad days. Just think of those who could have a worse day than you. They're still smiling. Like me on my surgery day. I cried, but after that, I'm smiling. I smile every time. Even if I'm tired or crabby, I'll smile, and even if it might be a sassy smile, I'm still smiling. Or laughing, or I'm just trying to have fun. So, thank you guys so much for staying here for the 20 minutes of video footage I have. If you have a really cool scar that you want to tell a story about, leave me a comment. I'd love to read it. If you want to just say anything, leave me a comment. I'll read it. Leave a like. And if you're not subscribed, you can go ahead and subscribe for more videos like this. And if you want more medical stories from me, leave a like, comment, subscribe. And if you want to know when my videos are up, because I don't have a set schedule, hit that notification bell, and you can get notifications on all my future videos. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, stay fierce, keep a smile on. Bye!